The moment his driver slowed the car at the red light, the young billionaire CEO felt an unease he couldn't explain. Outside the tinted window, rain-soaked streets reflected neon lights and restless lives, but it was two small figures on the sidewalk that made his chest tighten. Thin, shivering, holding hands like the world might take one if they let go. As he glanced again, both girls suddenly looked straight at him. Their eyes widened, their lips moved in unison. They were calling him Dad. In that instant, something inside a man who owned everything shattered completely. Before the story unfolds any further, pause for a moment. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the idea that even the most powerful hearts can still break and heal, please like this video, share it with someone you care about, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. He had built his empire before turning 30. Tech, investments, innovation. Magazines called him ruthless, brilliant, untouchable. He lived in glass towers and private jets, surrounded by people who praised his mind but never reached his heart. His childhood had been the opposite of luxury. Raised in foster homes, passed from family to family, he learned early that attachment led to pain. Love was a liability, success was safety. And so he chased success with a hunger that never faded, believing that one day it would finally make him whole. Yet standing there, watching two poor twin girls soaked in rain, calling him Dad with certainty that terrified him, none of that success mattered. He ordered the driver to stop. The guards protested quietly, scanning the area, but he stepped out anyway. The rain hit his tailored coat, cold and real. The girls stared up at him now, their faces dirty, their clothes thin, but their expressions filled with something dangerously familiar. Hope, the kind he had killed inside himself years ago. People on the street stared. A billionaire stepping out of a luxury car for two homeless children didn't fit the city's usual story. He felt exposed, stripped of titles and power. One of the girls clutched a worn backpack. The other held a folded photograph, edges frayed, protected like treasure. He didn't understand why his knees felt weak. He didn't understand why his throat burned. He only knew that this moment felt heavier than any business deal, any hostile takeover, any loss or victory he had ever faced. They insisted, not with noise or desperation, but with quiet certainty. The kind only children who believe in truth possess. They've been looking for him, they said, waiting. The words hit him like blows. Waiting for what? For him? Logic screamed that this was impossible. He had no children, no relationships long enough to leave consequences. His life had been carefully controlled, meticulously guarded. Yet as he looked closer, something about their faces unsettled him. The curve of their brows, the way their eyes narrowed when confused. Reflections of himself stared back through years he never lived. Against every instinct, he brought them into the car. As the city blurred past, the girls sat close together, soaked and silent now, exhaustion weighing on them. He watched them in the rearview mirror, his mind racing. Memories surfaced uninvited. A woman from years ago. Not a lover he paraded, but someone quiet, kind, forgotten because he had been too busy becoming someone else. He remembered leaving without looking back, believing that independence meant survival. At his penthouse, staff froze in disbelief. He dismissed them all. For the first time in years, he wanted silence, not service. The girls were given dry clothes, warm food. They ate slowly like children who had learned not to trust abundance. Every small gesture twisted something in his chest. Then came the photograph. The girl with the backpack unfolded it carefully, as if revealing a sacred object. Time seemed to slow. His breath stopped. It was him, younger, poorer, standing beside a woman he hadn't thought of in over a decade. His arm was around her. His smile was real, unguarded. On the back, written in faded ink, were words that shook him to his core. A promise. A date. Proof of a life he had abandoned. The room tilted. He sank into a chair as tears he hadn't shed since childhood broke free. He didn't sob loudly. He broke silently, the way men do when they realize strength has nothing to do with control. The truth unfolded painfully. Their mother had never chased him, never asked for money, never exposed the secret. She had believed he would come back when he was ready. When illness took her, the girls were left with nothing but stories in that photograph. Stories of a father who was smart, kind and destined for greatness. Stories that kept them alive on cold nights. He felt shame like fire. Every award on his wall mocked him. Every luxury felt stolen. He had escaped poverty only to recreate it for his own children. The following days tested him in ways no boardroom ever had. Lawyers, investigators, DNA tests. Fear that hope would be crushed by facts. Fear that he would fail them the way he failed their mother. But the results confirmed what his heart already knew. They were his. He tried to be strong, but strength looked different now. It meant learning how to hold a child's hand without flinching. It meant listening to stories that hurt to hear. It meant waking at night to check if they were still breathing, terrified the universe might take them too. The world reacted brutally when the story leaked. Media storms, critics accusing him of staging sympathy, investors questioning his focus. But for the first time, he didn't care. He had chased approval his entire life and found it empty. Now he chased redemption. He began to change. Meetings shortened, charity expanded, but more importantly, walls came down. He attended school events awkwardly. He learned their favorite foods. He listened when they cried from nightmares of hunger and loss. He apologized, again and again. Not with words alone, but with presence. The greatest challenge wasn't money or reputation, it was forgiveness. Forgiving himself for lost years, accepting that no amount of success could erase absence. Some nights he sat alone, staring at the photograph, wondering how close he had come to never knowing them at all. Slowly, something shifted. Laughter returned to his home. Real laughter, not polite echoes. The girls began to sleep without fear. They stopped flinching at loud sounds. They stopped asking if they would have to leave tomorrow. And he changed too. The sharp edges softened. The hunger transformed. Success no longer meant escape. It meant responsibility. Years later, when people asked him what moment defined his life, he never mentioned his first billion or his biggest deal. He spoke of a rainy street, 2 poor twin girls, 1 old photograph, and the day a man who thought he had everything finally found what he had been missing all along. Before this story ends, please take a moment to comment below. Share what this story made you feel, or who it reminded you of. Your words matter more than you think. And if this story touched your heart, if it made you believe that love can still find us no matter how far we run, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps keep these stories alive, reminding the world that sometimes the greatest wealth is not what we earn, but who we finally choose not to lose.